another position in town hall at, $18,000. Things of that nature, we haven't done it. I mean, we haven't had a layoff, not that I'm looking for, but we haven't had a layoff on general government side at all.
You mean cut the Edith O'Leary Senior Center?
I'm not proposing, I wouldn't like
Oh,
to
no,
do
I
that.
thought that's
I don't
what you
wanna do
said.
anything.
I thought you said cut the Edith
No,
O'Leary
but that's one
Senior
of the
Center.
programs that we have to look at,
Oh, okay.
along with all the rest of them, and
Well,
it's painful.
I'll tell you why I didn't put that on the list, okay? First of all, it isn't a giant budget. And two, is if we look at being the fairness across the board, right? Our seniors are bearing a brunt of the tax bills in town, least, a lot of them least able to pay, and they're not consuming all the operating dollars. So, from my point of view, I wouldn't touch that. Right? On the other hand, there may be some other, I'm not against looking in some other areas. We're losing, we've lost someone in the treasurer's office, we're not hiring. Right. So that, to me, is a cut. That's not in this coming year's budget. The town administrator had proposed some supplemental employment in the IT area and what was the other one? Human resources, adding some hours on both those for just reasons. But
Okay, you can, I'm just saying, I guess I'm a little bit pleasantly surprised that we were able to identify this level of resources to transfer over towards the school department. I may not agree with them all, without really having a tremendous adverse effect on general government, with the exception of, really, recreation, which again is affecting the same people that we're looking to assist over here, which was the kids. And I don't know if these numbers are correct, you're talking about hundreds of dollars the parents are going to have to put out just to have their kids participate in the program.
well, I mean, it comes back to Mike's comments, right? The solution is more revenue. It's not cuts, right? So what have we done? I mean, what we're talking about is taking solid waste. In other words, we're increasing a fee. Call it taxation without representation if you want, right? At least they don't get to vote on it. We do, right? Now, I mean, maybe that's not being very fair, but, we're in a box, and we've got to come up with a number of dollars. Are we going to say, okay, we're going to allow the school department to deteriorate? And I don't think anyone on the board here, as much as we may not agree on how we get there, right, wants to see that happen.
No, we're all in agreement.
Okay? So,
But again,
we've got to make some hard decisions, and,
maybe
I
we
think...
need, what I'm saying is, maybe we need some more choices on the menu.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, but I've exhausted my thoughts on, what I think, from what I know, of where we should go. Now, I asked the board members, when I started the presentation, to come up with some other ideas. Okay? I don't have a problem with that.
But I can't put a cost on it.
Phil has come up with an idea I don't agree with, but I mean, he's come up with, we'll take some money out of our debt stabilization, which I'm dead against. In fact, I'm not happy with doing what I had recommended, but I thought at least, that would help, get to the numbers that we needed.
Right, when you first presented the 150, I blocked
Yeah,
that.
I know.
Now we're up there, yeah.
Right.
No,
So,
I'm with you on that.
yeah, well, what are your thoughts? What else, what would you look
I
at?
guess I said I would ask the administration to come back with some additional recommendations. We had to cut another, whatever the number's gonna be, 300,000, or if it's the 500,000, we're looking to support.
Well, a lot depends on-
$350,000, rather than taking the.
All right,
350
let's
hit.
do this. Let me kind of get a straw vote on each item that's currently on the table to see, take and say, okay, these we all agree with, there's no issue, right? And at least get that number, and then we know what the gap is, and we can ask the town administrator to come back with some additional cuts or revenue enhancements or whatever. So I'll lead the way here. On the retirement benefits, it's a no-brainer. We're all in agreement with that. That's just money. On the Bo School, I don't think we should be using that number at all. Until we can get it verified, right?
Until we get it verified.
Again, that's a windfall. It's like the 530.
Well, I
don't
don't
know
think
if
it,
that's not
I think
recurring.
it's a
If it's
bogus
real,
number
if
is
it's
what
real,
it
it is
You
recurring.
won't, you don't find out what that number is, the real number, actually, that number should be okay, because it's based upon October's enrollment, last October's enrollment.
No, it has more, it has something to do with the, this distribution formula,
Right, but it's based
chapter
on a-
70, but
But
it
we
needs
can
to be
verify that
confirmed.
number.
It didn't, it came through a phone call to Joe. I mean, when we talked about it, I don't know, speak up, Greg, I didn't think that it was,
But it was for the purposes of, our discussions, we felt as though it was the best information we had. Remember last year, it was $156,000 increase. I believe it was after town meeting.
right.
So it certainly calls into question the validity of that.
Right.
Last year.
Non-exempt debt, that's the stabilization fund of 150. Can we get agreement on that number or not?
That number and more, absolutely.
But you would agree on
I
that
would
number
agree
at a
on that.
minimum?
I would agree with that number, absolutely.
Mike,
And more.
Steve?
I'm with you reluctantly.
Okay. Police and fire overtime, the 39,407.
Yeah, this one I don't really understand sometimes, because, I mean, we can't really control where there's a fire, how many alarms it is, who's gonna get shot. I mean, you have to have a certain number of people
Well,
on
we
duty
manage,
at
no
once.
matter what the
I mean,
number is, we manage to spend it, so,
Yeah, and how many, and again, how many snowstorms do you have, and how many
Yeah.
water main breaks do you have, and,
Yeah.
so that come under
the
water.
pressure is on for our chiefs, acting chiefs, to better control the overtime, period.
In public works.
And public works too. Can we agree on this number or not?
Yeah.
can
Is
agree
that a
on it.
proportionate share, though?
It is. Yep,
So
it's,
it's-
Their overtime budgets are not equal.
no, they're not at all.
No, you got $1 million in one, you got a 600,000 in another, and I don't know, what's Dave's overtime budget in
Smaller, much
DPW?
smaller.
Very small, how much?
But the 87,000,
Yeah, 87,000 compared to a $500,000 somewhere else.
but a lot of his overtime is buried in snow and ice. Chapter 90 road projects and stuff.
What a guy.
Not that much money.
All right, we're,
Not that much money in
it's
overtime
not that much.
overall.
We're in
That's fine,
agreement.
That's fine, $13,000 a piece, yeah.
Need be, convert solid waste to, fully fee-based at the tune of, $15 additional per quarter.
I'm a fan of those
Everyone in
figures.
agreement with
At
that?
this point, I'm not, I still wanna think about that, but I'm not saying I couldn't go there.
So it's 4 to,
I
4 to 1?
think asking for trash to pay for itself is not an unreasonable thing you have to.
Well,
People who use the service
I'm just
should pay
saying
for
what I
it.
think.
Yeah.
I understand where you're
No,
coming from.
yeah,
It's
I
hard to
only
ask
think of the
people to-
seniors and
I know,
the,
me
you know.
too. But
Well,
I'm in favor.
you know, the one thing I didn't mention tonight is that that move, I'm sure is gonna bring pressure on us to get back to look at pay-as-you-throw. You know, and obviously that creates a whole new set of
Yeah, that's right.
issues, but,
And
I say, right now, I'm not there.
And I think we
Yes,
can
sir.
benefit seniors, I think we can benefit seniors by giving some kind of discount.
Bringing that up, I think the important thing is that the board looks at, if it's going to be 100% fee structure, that's the first question to answer. Stay with the existing program, look at a pay-as-you-throw option, still going to have a fee base. I think a lot of folks have in their mind that then it just became what they put out. They're still going to have to pay the fixed cost for the truck.
right, that's what we're actually moving.
So either way, it's gonna be a straight fee or a fee plus buying a bag, the bottom line is that this school would be an enterprise, that would have, the system would have to fund itself, regardless ultimately what option you take.
All right, so we've got 4 to 1. Joe is not comfortable with it.
Yeah, again, I'm not real comfortable either, but, you know, for $15 a quarter, and again, already people are being, already maligned as far as, you know.
I'm
the
not
low-end
saying
user-
no,
the
I'm just
low-end
not
user.
there yet. I'm just not there yet.
$15 a quarter, I think the impact of not doing it is far greater to people, so,
Recreation of the 45, which is the one position. I'm sorry, Warren.
That is a comment on trash
Well, to add to that, at one time the board decided they were gonna send a bill out each quarter. We'd be better off sending one bill out, one envelope, maybe it's two bills in one envelope or whatever, once a quarter.
I don't know that you
Can't.
can.
That
You
gets an
can't, you
override
can't
bill.
do it.
That gets tossed on top of the override.
Oh, I know that, but we lost that a long time ago.
Well, all right, we can look into that, it's a good
Yeah.
suggestion. Recreation, 45,495, where are we on that, guys?
The one position, yes.
Yeah,
One
one for
position.
45, I mean, that's unfortunate. It's the same
Ambulance, everyone's in agreement with
Yeah,
that?
that's a no-brainer.
Start that tomorrow.
Cell tower lease, we gotta make that happen.
No-brainer.
And the health insurance, that's a no-brainer, because
No-brainer.
that's just money coming in. All right, on the items that I proposed, recreation, make it totally fee.
No.
people. I'm against that,
I'm torn
All right, so we have a no on that. Library,
I'm against that.
against that as well.
Probably, I'm worried about.
it may not
More
work
the
any.
accreditation,
Yeah.
that's the
If
problem,
it
Doesn't
doesn't
affect
affect
the
accreditation, fine. If
Okay.
it does, no.
If it doesn't affect
If it doesn't
accreditation,
affect the accreditation, I would be in favor.
I'm
I agree.
maybe reluctant, it's not much savings, and I think it hurts the library badly, so I don't know, maybe.
We have a trustee.
Mrs. Bailey,
Thank you.
speaking for the library, I hope.
As, in my capacity as Vice Chair of the Library Board of Trustees. We only have about $6,000 of wiggle room to make our municipal appropriation requirement, so $25,000 would, in all likelihood, take away the certification of the library and the ability for the library to participate in the Merrimack Valley Library Consortium and any interlibrary loans. So for a relatively small bang for your buck, the difference between 25 and the 6 that you may be able to take away and maintain certification, you lose a lot of service for every resident in North Reading. And looking at the list on the school budget, it doesn't look like you're gonna make it down to the third item down, which is tech, library, and media. So, you can keep the library certified for $19,000 and the ability for families and every citizen to do research there and have full service. Or you can try to restore the schools for $93,000. I think the 19 is a much better bang for your
It's
buck.
a no.
Voted no.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're all set.
I didn't vote no.
Thank you.
I voted no.
No, I didn't vote no yet.
No, I think
believe
that
the
what you were saying
$6,000
was that,
We may be able to.
I didn't wanna knock the accreditation
No,
off.
no, yeah, no, I don't either.
Yeah, so for $6,000,
No, I don't want to knock the accreditation out, no.
Well, that's what she's saying,
Right.
is that,
Oh,
there are
okay.
two factors.
Yeah.
We, taking 5 hours, off a week wasn't a problem, but the
Right.
dollar amount is. On the police, by the way, Joe, the $100,000, I started with 2 staff officers. Greg, when I discussed that with him, has said that the chief would probably prefer to put that in overtime, take it out of overtime.
If I could hear the chief say that he could cut $100,000 in overtime without affecting the public safety, I would agree to it. I don't think I'm gonna hear the chief say that. I'd like to ask him that, though.
I just recall the budget deliberations we had here with the chief sitting here, he's advocating for
For
a
the-
increase in positions.
Yeah, I understand, but I mean,
I am,
He says
in-
that
Yeah.
And there was a compelling argument for it.
Right.
my understanding is he says that if you cut 2 police officers, it means that he'll make the evenings will end up to be response only. In other words, they'll not be, the cars won't be on the streets, okay, that they'll only respond to calls. Now, again, I mean, I see this as the same, as hitting at the same people. You're changing one thing. I mean, who are we talking about? We're talking about kids, we're talking about, people at night that, and look at the blotter, see the police blotter, see the number of problems they solve at night that you wouldn't respond to except after the fact. I think you gotta really look at this. I agree with Joe on I'd like to hear them tell us more first.
If I could hear the chief say the same thing that Joe said, I agree. But,
well,
I don't know,
yeah,
this might hurt me politically, but public safety is as a